Hi everyone, today we'll be going through the top 5 tips to help you average under a minute on the Rubik's Cube. Number 1. Solve the cross on the bottom. So if you're coming over from the beginner's method, chances are you learnt to solve the cross using the daisy method. But if you're looking to average under a minute on the Rubik's Cube, it'll be a good idea to start solving the cross on the bottom. So there's a couple of reasons why building the cross on the bottom would speed up your solves. The first is that the finger tricks are usually a lot nicer. This is because using the daisy method, we often have to rotate the cube multiple times to solve the cross. Whereas solving the cross intuitively, we don't really need to rotate the cube and we can come up with smoother, better finger tricks to solve the cross. Solving the cross on the bottom is also a very good habit to get into, especially when you become more advanced. After solving the cross, you're going to want to look for your first F2L pair. By solving the cross on the bottom, it's going to be out of sight, and so it'll make it a lot easier for you to spot your first F2L pair. And if you're interested in learning how to solve the cross intuitively, I've already made a tutorial on that, so I'll link this video in the description and feel free to check that out if you're interested. Number 2. Don't rotate for last layer. So this is a pretty common thing I see among beginner cubers, especially during PLO. Often when cubers first learn PLO, they tend to try and match up the colors before they do the algorithm. So often you might see beginner cubers match up the colors first and then rotate. So the problem with that is that you're rotating during last layer. So if you really think about it, in order for the PLO algorithm to work, only the last layer needs to be oriented in the correct direction. It doesn't really matter if the colors aren't matching, the PLO algorithm will still work. So for example, if you get this T-perm from this angle, instead of matching and then rotating, you can pretty much just move the T-perm over. Doesn't matter if it's not matching the colors, just do the T-perm. And then finally, do an AUF at the end, which is a U move that aligns the last layer. And same concept applies for OLO as well. So in this case, I have a soon, but it's from the wrong angle. So instead of rotating all the way over here to do the soon, instead from here, you can just do a U2, do the soon. So you should never have to rotate the cube during last layer. Number 3. Learn Intuitive F2L. So Intuitive F2L is exactly what the name suggests. It's when you solve the first 2 layers intuitively. The main benefit Intuitive F2L has over the beginner layer by layer method is that it's a lot more efficient, as in it takes a lot less moves to solve the corner and edges. So the whole idea of Intuitive F2L is that whenever you solve a corner, notice that there's a particular edge that comes in with it as well. And if we backtrack our moves, we know exactly where that edge is coming from. So really all we need to do is find the correct edge, which is actually this red and blue one, which belongs here. We can move that into this position relative to the corner, like this. Now that when we rotate back, we notice that the edge is in position. Now when we insert the corner, notice that the edge comes in with the corner. So it's important to note that when you first learn Intuitive F2L, it's normal that your averages are going to get slower. But once you get used to using Intuitive F2L, it's going to be able to take your solves further compared to the beginner's method. And if you're interested in learning Intuitive F2L, I'll link this video in the description where I go over the best way to learn Intuitive F2L. Number 4. Learn new finger tricks. So once you're trying to become sub 1 minute, very traditional finger tricks such as single flicks and wrist turns aren't really enough to get you further. Instead, you should start learning more advanced finger tricks. So one of the most important finger tricks that you should definitely know is U2 double flicks with both of your hands. So index finger followed by middle finger. These are very useful for F2L and for your last layer algorithms. Another finger trick that's really useful is the D flick with your ring finger. This is really useful, especially if you're building your cross intuitively on the bottom layer. Other finger tricks such as this U pinch move here is really useful, especially when you're inserting F2L pairs. And also F moves with your thumb are also very useful for your last layer algorithms. Last but not least, learn 2-look OLO and 2-look PLO. So it definitely is possible to average under a minute using the beginner method last layer, but I would not recommend it. Instead, a better way to try and achieve an average of under a minute is to start learning some last layer algorithms. So the best place to start in terms of algorithms for Rubik's Cubes is to learn 2-look-OLO and 2-look-PLO. So in total there's 16 algorithms, which actually isn't too many, but after learning 2-look-OLO and 2-look-PLO, you'll be able to speed up your last layer by a lot. So here I'll give a brief overview of what 2-look-OLO and 2-look-PLO consists of. So there's 4 steps involved. The first step is to get the yellow cross on the top layer. Following that, we do another algorithm to get all yellow on the top. Following that, we do one algorithm that solves all the corners on the last layer. And finally, we do one more algorithm that solves all the edges. So as you can see, 2-look-OLO and 2-look-PLO are a group of very important algorithms that I definitely recommend you learning, especially if you want to become sub 1 minute on the Rubik's Cube. And if you're interested in the best way to learn 2-look-OLO and 2-look-PLO, I've got videos that go through both of those on this channel already. Feel free to check those out. Links to both of those will be in the video description. So thank you very much for watching. I hope you learned something. As always, if you have any questions about anything in this video, feel free to leave a question in the comment section down below. Like the video if you learned something new. Please subscribe if you want to see more similar videos. Thank you guys very much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video.